I've read hundreds, if not thousands, of books, research papers, and articles on how to perform at your peak as an entrepreneur. I've also worked with more than 270 entrepreneurs and invested in 37 of them. In over these many years, I have learned that there are 3 specific mindset shifts that make all the difference for entrepreneurs. If you embody this mindset shift, I can guarantee that your results in business will skyrocket because they're deeply rooted in human nature. Welcome back. I'm Castillo, founder of Selfmastered, CEO of a peak performance institute that helps entrepreneurs like you scale without procrastination, overwhelm, and burnout. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing so you never miss out on any of the juicy videos we send your way to help you scale more effectively. So this mindset shift are not the typical things you will get discussed. This is deeply rooted in human nature, and you need to deploy the 3 of them at the same time to really get elite results. And the first mindset shift is pursuing what I call an elite vision. A vision, you're probably aware of, is an idea of the future you wholeheartedly believe in, something you want to see happening. Now, an elite vision, it is something that goes beyond what will traditionally be considered reasonable, something that is outside of your current comfort zone, way outside of the current limit of your abilities, but still has a modicum of possibility embedded within. So it is very important that you stray away from the typical goal setting advice that tell you to set SMART goal, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-bound, and you really start thinking in terms of stretch goals, of things that are outside of the current level of your abilities, because now we have scientific research that proves that only when a goal is outside of the current level of our abilities, it actually helps us tap into intrinsic motivation, which is our own internal willingness to go after that goal. When we are operating with intrinsic motivation, we do not care about external markers of success like money, fame, status, but instead we go after it because we wholeheartedly believe it is the best thing we could possibly be doing. And if you look at the elite performers throughout history, and also specifically in business, you will see that none of them set normal goals. None of them had a SMART goal brainstorming session to see if they went ahead with their business idea or their whole life story. Do you think it was smart for Elon Musk, for instance, when he was down to the last $50,000 after having sold PayPal for hundreds of millions, to put that everything he got into 2 companies at a time, so SpaceX and Tesla, to save both and hopefully make his return back? It wasn't smart at all. Do you think it was smart for Hernán Cortés, for instance, to try to conquer the Aztec Empire, who had 100,000 soldiers and he only had 400? No, it was not smart. Everywhere you look, every time you see an outlandish story, it all starts by having an outlandish vision, what I call an elite vision, something that propels you forward. Elite performers do not push towards their goal, they instead pull towards them. They feel compelled to go and try. When you do this right, it naturally aligns your cognition and your behavior, because the thoughts you have, the emotions you entertain, and the behaviors you display are all aimed at exceeding yourself, at building yourself into a different person that can achieve that goal. Which leads me to mindset shift number 2, which is nurturing an elite identity. When you have an elite vision, when you're really fighting for something you truly care about, when your business has a significance that goes beyond just making money, but it is a new idea about the world that you're trying to bring forward with your own effort, you stop being a normal entrepreneur just chasing profit, but instead you become a hero that is creating a life story that has a vehicle, your business, that helps you realize that. That is when you are able to marshal all your psychological resources, because every time you hit an obstacle, every time you are subject to trials and tribulations, since you are a hero, since you have that elite identity when you're chasing that elite vision, every single one of those things start to make sense because they're part of the hero's journey that you have selected for your life. An elite identity is when you naturally align the goal with your everyday behavior and you do not pay attention to any relationship or any inputs or any thoughts or any emotions or any behaviors that do not align with the elite identity that you have committed on building. When I work with entrepreneurs, it's always the same pattern. They are on a mission they truly believe in. And I can see that those who truly embody that heroic archetype, they weather storms much more easily. They're able to withstand pain and be more resilient and deploy more grit in order to achieve their goals. Their self-efficacy, which is another psychological marker that is very prevalent in entrepreneurs. Specifically, self-efficacy means your belief in your ability to figure things out, a term coined by Albert Bandura, also Sky Rockets. But everything hinges on your self-image. Everything hinges on the idea that you have about yourself. If you're just an agency owner, you're just a consultant, you're just whatever it is that you do, you're one more e-com owner, and you don't really have a strong purpose and a strong identity that you're nurturing every day, it becomes harder to stay in the game. This is why the more you try to be who you're able to be, the easier it eventually becomes. So the first step is to have an elite vision, something that is outlandish, something that affects the bigger number of people, something that truly makes you care about it, that gives sense to your daily toll. And then is knowing who you need to become in order to make that happen. Now, there's a final step, and that final step is what most people eventually go wrong. That final step is related to what I call elite execution. This trips a lot of people up. The goal in business is not to do as much as you can. The goal is to do as little as you can to get the most bang for your buck, to get the most impact. Technical term, leverage. So elite execution is about understanding exactly what needs to be done and why in order to get to that vision as fast as possible. And what I like to do here when working with entrepreneurs is mapping out what are the bottlenecks in their business that are preventing them from moving forward. Bottleneck is literally the thing that is straining your resources, the thing that is not working that is preventing you from moving forward. Let's say, for instance, that your business is not making enough sales and realize you're getting 0 leads per week. Well, that is the bottleneck. The bottleneck is not sales. The bottleneck is leads, which is upstream of sales. So once you're very clear on what is the bottleneck that is preventing you from moving forward faster towards that vision and becoming that elite hero that is on a quest towards that vision or initiative that will solve that bottleneck for good. Let's say, for instance, that lead generation is a problem. You don't have enough leads. So what is the strategy that will solve this problem? A lead magnet. The most elite lead magnet you can create is what's going to allow you to solve that bottleneck and then stop focusing on something else within your business. So that is a key concept in elite execution, understanding what needs to be done and why, and how fast we can get it done. Any effort that is not, in this specific case, solving the lead generation problem is wasted effort. But a lot of entrepreneurs, what they do is they work on things that are not urgent just because they like them more, instead of working on specifically what they need to be focused on. So they eventually take weeks or months, even years, working on their product, working on their sales, working on their team and operations, when the problem really is lead generation. So elite execution, in essence, is doing only what needs to be done to the absolute best of your ability until the problem is solved. How you do that? First, you map out the bottleneck, then you map out the big domino, and then you execute as much as you can in the shortest amount of time possible to solve the problem. And I like to do this in 3-month intervals. So instead of having yearly plans or the 3-year plan, which never work, what we do is we map out 3-month plan with very specific KPIs that you just need to go and do them, right? So this is a framework. Every elite entrepreneur I've ever worked with had a very strong vision, a very strong idea of the future they absolutely needed to build, something that compelled them forward, something that had an impact on something other than their bank account. Then 2, have an elite identity. You're not going to achieve anything elite in your life, any elite goal, if you're not elite yourself. If your thoughts, your emotions, your behavior, your relationship, your environment are not designed to support that vision. And this is when you understand you have a choice. You can program your mind to become the person that eventually achieves that vision. This is a big part of what we do at Selfmastered. We train the mind of our clients so they cannot fail. And finally is having very clear execution standards. The goal is not to do a lot of things. The goal is to do one thing, or at least the fewest number of things possible to the best of your ability, because this is how you win, not by working harder, by leveraging yourself harder. So this is it. Elite goals, elite identity, elite execution. If you consistently do these three things, I can guarantee that you will make more progress per week that you've ever done before. And this applies to every single entrepreneur at any level of business. It doesn't matter what business you're in. What matters is you're able to dream big enough, become the type of person that can actually carry out that vision and then execute without getting doubtful or distracted. This is the essence of an elite entrepreneur. And you can start deploying these ideas in your business today. If you want our help, you know where to find us. And if you want to get deeper about what is a blueprint that we normally work our clients through, click on the link below and you'll see a full blueprint on what specific skills and how specifically we believe anyone can become an elite performer. See you in the next video.